Hello Scorpio, this is your yearly forecast. We're going to start in February, but we'll still look at January and what might have happened going into February. What energies did January leave us with? You are going to get 12 cards, one card for each month, 3 rows of 4. This is January. You're starting off with a 9 of Swords, and I believe Virgo might have started off with a 9 of Swords, so that's pretty interesting. This is a Page of Swords. Eight of Swords. Oh, wow. You're a water sign, Scorpio. And then a 9 of Wands. So you got 2 9s, plenty of swords for the first 4 months of the year. Let's look at May. You have a Queen of Cups. June, you have the High Priestess reverse. This is Wheel of the Year, or the Wheel of Fortune in the Rider-Waite. And this is 6 of Wands. Okay, so Wands and Swords are pretty dominant here. We do have a Queen of Cups. We have the Moon for September. A Queen of Wands for October. 10 of Swords for November. And then 5 of Pentacles for December. Okay, so these swords are really prominent here. So let me just start off with that before I get to your major arcana. Swords are air, and swords are about the psychological energies, you know, the way we perceive reality, our anxieties, our fears. It's also about communication and judgment as well, decision making. When I look at these swords, I feel like there is a lot of fears and anxieties starting off in January about a particular issue. And when I look at your beginning and ending, you start off with a 9 of Swords, and you end with a 5 of Pentacles, and this is the card of poverty. Sometimes it can mean a very hard time, but it's only temporary. Things will get better. So I keep feeling that in spite of the hopefulness of summer, because you have a Wheel of the Year and 6 of Swords here, I'm like, things are supposed to look pretty good. But undercutting all of this are these swords here. So 9 of Swords, the card of drama. Someone's an energy vampire. They are sucking the life out of you. You have an 8 of Swords. You have a Page of Swords, which is messages of communication. Sometimes it can mean addressing an argument, a big argument, or addressing gossip or lies. Okay? But it, in the most basic sense, for all of you Scorpios, it can mean having a serious discussion. And it definitely means addressing that issue without fear, not hesitating. Okay? So that leads us to an 8 of Swords, where we feel confused, we have that blindfold on, we don't know how to get out of this situation. And then, so this is all happening at the beginning of the year, January and March, January through March. When we get to November, what I'm seeing here is the 10 of Swords is about being blindsided. 10, the higher you go with the numbers from the ace to the 10, the more intense that situation is. But it means that that situation is going to be over soon and you'll start over. So when I see this 10 of Swords in November, the toxic issue you're dealing with, whether it's at work or relationship, is coming to a head. And there's going to be fallout. But one more thing, it also means being blindsided, being stabbed in the back, that there's something that you didn't see coming and you didn't prepare for it, and it just, you know, it just hits you out of the blue, and it can be devastating. I'm not saying you deserve it or anything like that, but this is just, take that as a bit of advice from the Oracle, that this year just pay attention to don't be blindsided. Pay attention to the relationships you have and the feelings of other people. Okay, because I get the feeling that there's a lot of drama going on beginning and near the end of the year. And so it seems like an issue that's underlying a relationship or many relationships you might be having, whether it's your partner or a colleague at work. And again, a little disclaimer. We're going through a pandemic that has ripped away at our security for love, relationships. We've lost loved ones. People have died. We've lost our jobs. Some of us are in a very difficult position financially. So I am reading your year with that filter of the fallout of 2020. And it feels as if you had a really difficult 2020. And you probably already are aware of these lingering issues and the fallout and the trust issues that you're probably dealing with. Okay? So those are your swords. As far as your major arcana cards, it looks like you have three major ones. You have the High Priestess, which again seems to be underscoring this issue of lacking clarity. Your subconscious fears are taking over because the High Priestess always has control over her subconscious. She's able to have clarity and understand the mysteries. But when it's reversed, it definitely means that you are not staying in the present. You're not seeing with clear vision. And you're letting your subconscious fears and baggage take over your judgment. So that's very, very important here. That you might be heading into a situation where you think you're victorious and everything's going to be fine. But then the moon shows up, after the wheel of the year, this turn of fate. Okay, the wheel turns, the wheel of fortune. And so the moon is definitely about being afraid, but it's about listening to your subconscious and listening to it. If something doesn't feel right, you need to pay attention to that feeling. And so many times people try to talk themselves out of misgivings. I'm not talking about anxiety and fear. I'm talking about something that doesn't feel right, a relationship. Maybe you had a first or second date and you like the person, but there's something that just doesn't sit right with you. And so that's what the moon is about. This Eight of Swords here in March, confusion, blindfold, you're confused. But then we have this Queen of Cups here, which is the cup of love and nurturing and friendship and comforting and opening your heart, which isn't necessarily, you have to do those things with eyes wide open. So when we come from the High Priest, then we go to the Wheel of the Year, things are turning, and then we turn into the moon. Your subconscious, you're going into a relationship or a situation with a cloudy vision, and you're letting your feelings dominate here, so you need to be careful. So those are your major arcana, and the only cup you have, not that it's going to make a huge difference, is the Queen of Cups here. So an overview of your year for January, you have drama, and Page of Swords, you address you have difficult conversations, and then Eight of Swords, you're confused. Nine of Swords, you need to be prepared and learn lessons from the past. Queen of Cups, your heart still opens up. It feels like emotionally you're giving something a chance, but your High Priestess is reversed, meaning that you may be having misgivings. You head into the Wheel of the Year where things turn, and you have a Six of Wands, which is the card of victory. Someone has won something. Someone has dominated. Then we have the moon, more fears, like, okay, what does this mean? Is this person going to hurt me? Is this going to fall through? Again, we have the Queen of Wands, which can represent another person, just like the Queen of Cups here represents you. The Queen of Wands is fiery and confident. She can talk her way and seduce anyone. And after the seduction, that's when we get blindsided with this Ten of Swords. And then Five of Pentacles, we go into a very difficult situation. And sometimes this means someone who, feeling that you've lost something and being afraid of losing it. Normally the Five of Pentacles, it's seen as the money card, being concerned about being poor, being afraid of not having enough money. But it can also translate into not feeling taken care of. It can feed into our insecurities, especially after this Ten of Swords. You get the feeling that there's a lot of fallout. Maybe you've lost friends. Maybe you've lost, you know, there could even be a breakup. But whatever's happening here at the end of the year, I think the bigger message from your spirit guide is whatever this toxic situation is that's pulling you in and confusing you, or whoever this person is who might be gaslighting you, or the situation that's got you not knowing whether you're coming or going, whatever it is, you need to keep your eyes open and just be aware of what other motivations are in this partnership or this situation. That could very well be a major setback. And when I look at this Wheel of the Year and I look at this Six of Wands, which are kind of pretty good cards as far as success and, you know, oh, I've done it, everything's going to be fine, I think that you need to be aware that sometimes when we get to the Six of Wands, we can sort of convince ourselves everything's going to be fine. But this victory doesn't necessarily mean it's your victory. It can also mean someone else who has won and who's victorious. So these wands, the Nine of Wands, which is about being prepared, Six of Wands, which is victory, the Queen of Wands, which is about inspiration. It's good to believe in something, but I keep feeling that with the swords, and the wands and swords are both offensive. They go on the offensive. So it's important that you keep your eyes wide open and pay attention to how these swords are playing out for you this year. And look at the wands as well. But the message from your spirit guide with these major arcana, Scorpio, is listen to your subconscious and trust yourself. Okay? Don't assume that this year will be terrible. Sometimes these things, these problems, these issues, some of you are probably aware that they're there. So I'm sort of confirming that they might continue into the year, that it might take some more time to resolve them. But also don't assume that, oh, this is going to be a terrible year. Not necessarily. I'm just giving you the dominant issues that you might be concerned about. Okay? And I think the dominant issue for you, Scorpio, comes down to basic trust and seeing people and situations for what they are. So that was your reading. I hope you're safe and healthy. And as always, I wish you love and light. Take care.